Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. This is part 9 of our 10-part series looking at the 10 major factions within Mythic Legions. Today we're going to be looking at the Convocation of Bassylia. Now this is one of the smaller factions within Mythic Legions, so this will be a quick one. Now I will say I only have 3 of the characters in this faction so far, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of guessing on some of the figures I don't have. Remember, with these 5 episodes of the Good Guy factions, I'm giving away Arazak. In order to win Arazak, you have to be subscribed to the Strong Collectors, then go to the link in the description of this video, create your own tiers list of how you would rank these characters, and then post that in the Cabal. Make sure you tag me, Dakota Phillips, so that I can see it. I don't want to miss anything, so be sure to tag. You can mention the Strong Collectors as well, that would be great, and then we'll do a drawing at the end for Arazak. You remember you can have up to 5 entries, 1 for each of the factions within the Good Guy episodes that we're doing here. So without any further ado, let's get into the Convocation of Bassylia. In 9th place is a character I actually have, and that is Zendai. Now, like I said, I don't have all of the characters in this faction, and I actually love Zendai. I think this faction, it's hard to say that this has the most of my favorites in it because there are so many favorites in Mythic Legions, but Zendai is amazing. His robe is awesome. The effects he comes with are great. I love the head sculpt. I love the armor. He's a 1.0 character, so there's pop and swap possibilities there. And this figure is just great, especially for being in last place. It's probably the number 1 last place figure out of all of the factions. In 8th place, I have Hera, Serpent Shire. Now this one took me about 6 times to re-say the name, but we got it down this time, hopefully. Now this figure, I think looks so cool. I've seen some cool pictures with this and some of the other magic wielders from this wave. I think the head sculpt is amazing. Even that crown on top of it. The armor, I love the magic tattoo powered up effects. And we see that on some of the newer figures in the Poxus wave as well. So not a figure I own, but one that I want for sure. Let me know in the comments, is this a figure that you think we would see more likely as an all-star or more likely as a version 2? In 7th place, I have Rune Shaper. I think I'm saying his name right. This is one that I wish there was more pictures of on Source Horseman, but I didn't really need many pictures to know that this guy looks awesome. I love the blue armor. If I could get a full-sized 1.0 character in that colored armor, I'd be all in. Probably my favorite color of armor out of any of the characters. Maybe you're not going to army build it, but as just a single character and especially as a magic wielder, I think it looks amazing. He's got a soft goods purple cape. I think the green wing effects on his helmet are amazing. And then just that beard. I'm sure we've seen this on other dwarves, but I think it looks the best on him. Next, I have Samir Scroll Warder. And this is another one that I just recently got. Well, all of us just recently got. But the soft goods on him are really cool. I really like his book accessory that he comes with. I imagine that that's where he's getting a lot of his power from. So I kind of like having him holding that up and then spell casting with one hand. Again, another super good bearded figure. I imagine him being kind of like from Doctor Strange. Is it the Ancient One? That's kind of the role I imagine him having within this magic faction. Coming in at 5th place is Thog. This is one that I haven't gotten quite yet, but I anticipate that I'm going to like this figure quite a bit. The details in just the staff alone, I think, are really cool. You've got kind of that skull with horns, and you've got the regular smaller skull. He's got the skull on his belt. I like the antlers being a part of his shoulder pauldrons. This definitely gives a lot of witch doctor vibes. The soft goods on him, at first I was thinking, too much soft goods, but you can take the soft goods off pretty easily. But I think even being able to position those around, I think it looks really cool. This is for sure my favorite of any of the orcs heads, and I like that he's going to be a little bit bigger, but not quite ogre scale, but bigger than 1.0 scale. I really like that we've got a scale in between there. I think it's going to look really cool on the shelf. In 4th place is As a Spirit Bender, another one I don't have in hand, but if we could get an all-star of this figure, I would be for sure there. I really like the tattoos on this figure. I think Mythic Legions does a really good job with the tattoos on this figure and the demons and even the powered up magic wielder type of tattoos that come up on Samir Scroll Warder and Zendai. So Very cool figure. I like the hood. I like the armor colors. I like the purples coming with the sword and the dagger. It seems kind of like that blending of a magic wielder, but also an assassin. In third place, I have Rena. Now this one I'm a little bit biased on because this past year at Legions Con, my wife did a cosplay of Rena, so soft spot in my heart for that, because we had to like kind of do the deep dive into all the details and making the costume. So seeing it in life-size scale makes it cool, and then, you know, being it on the person that I love most in the world, another plus. I like the hood. I like the sword. She comes with quite a bit of accessories, and this is another one that, like, the color of blue is excellent with the silvers and the golds. I really hope we get an all-star of this. I think I've been saying that on all of the older figures that I don't have, which I know we don't get that many all-stars, but if y'all would start voting for some of my picks, I'd be pretty happy. In second place is Balam. I don't know if that's how you say it, but I always say it's Balam. Kind of more of like a sound effect than a name to me, but very cool figure. I love the Jaguelians. I think this one is kind of your most standard of Jaguelian. I think if this was one that was going to be made into an all-star, again, go vote for my all-star picks. But if he was made an all-star, I would be buying multiple of him because I think this Jaguelian look looks cool. But then I would also want extra parts to make other Jaguelians. But then I also would want to display him with the helmeted head because I think that is also a super cool look with the purples and golds. But it also has that bucket helmet to go with it. And like I've said in other faction videos, that's probably my favorite style of helmet for the Knights. And in first place is Argor. This, along with Azahazar, is the reason that I collect Mythic Legions. I saw these probably not long after they went up for sale on Big Bad Toy Store, and as soon as I saw them, realizing that they were 1/12 scale figures, but ogre scale, I knew that I had to get them, and Argor does not disappoint in hand. I think the sword is amazing. I've always really thought dragons were cool, but then having it in like this humanoid armored up version of a dragon is even cooler. I think the belt detail is really cool. Being able to swap around the armors, take the armor off, even if you wanted to buy multiple and have a 4-armed dragon, I think all of those are super cool details. But then even just this figure alone, looking at the colors and the scales and all of the small details that Four Horsemen put into this figure, and this would be one of my higher ranking figures in all of Mythic Legions as well. And that wraps it up for this faction. Here's a breakdown of how I kind of organize my thoughts. You can go down in the description below to the link for the tier maker list. And then, like I said, make sure you're subscribed, post a screenshot of your tiered list into the Mythic Legions Cabal. Feel free to change the categories of your tiers to whatever you want. And I'll see you here for the last episode coming tomorrow.